So why don't we go around and say our names?
Danny.
Hobin.
Sanaa.
Natalie.
And I'm Ansley. So this is a group from George Washington High School in Denver visiting today. And just to start off the conversation, what experiences have you had that led you to realize that there are issues within our school system?
I think just like going there for 4 years and like realizing everyone's like, for me it was mostly realizing how separate everyone was and how disengaged people became. Because I feel like the class above us, I feel like they had a lot more school spirit compared to the other classes. And, like, my class of 2024, I feel like we're really the last ones who have that school spirit. Because a lot of the sophomores and freshmen, I feel like they just don't care. Like, they just really don't care.
Yeah. I feel like it's the exact same here, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I remember last year, I feel like those seniors were, like,
Yeah.
in it. And I don't know if that has something to do with COVID.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like it does, honestly.
I think it is COVID as well, but like, it's just this I'm too cool type of attitude
Yeah.
that everybody has now.
Yeah. The class of 2022, I think, was the one. So that was like the seniors when I was a freshman. They had like all the school spirit, and I thought that was how it was gonna be forever. But I don't know.
Right.
And it's like I met like my freshman year. I worked with like these couple seniors, and like they didn't care what grade you were in, how old you were. They acted the same they would with you than they would with like other seniors.
Yeah.
And they were like super cool about it, and like it was just fun.
Yeah. I feel like there was there's a big part of middle school that is learning, and it has nothing to do with academics.
Yeah.
A big part of learning is like failing, and I think that's what, like, I feel like I did a lot of failing in middle school. I feel like
Yeah.
everybody does a lot of failing in middle
Oh
school.
my God.
Yeah.
And you
so
can't
much.
really fail in high school.
No.
Like, if you fail,
Dope.
like in a big way, everybody's gonna clown you or whatever the case may
Or
be.
it's on your transcript.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So
So
in
it's
college, it's like,
you
Yeah.
have to take that middle school year, and since they didn't have the spirit, it's just
Yeah.
Not
Not there.
there. Yeah. Back to the original question of like, what moment? I don't know. I'm in student leadership, and I see a lot of like change that we could be doing, but we just don't do. Or like when we try to engage change, there's not as many people coming and like wanting to engage in that change.
Yeah.
I feel like there's also a lot of pushback. Like, I'm the vice president of the school, and I feel like there's just a lot of pushback for, like we said earlier, like trying to be overly inclusive, but then other people are just like, that's not like how. I don't even know what I was saying. Like, that's not how it's.
We're trying so hard to be woke.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they're trying to fit into everything, but like
You just can't do that.
you can't fit into everything.
Looks like they're
And I
doing.
think that's okay. Like people gotta realize like they're like we don't have to like make an umbrella thing. There can be things for different groups and different people.
Right.
and
Doesn't have
people
to
who
all
aren't
be
in
the
that
same.
certain group can interact in different ways.
Exactly.
Because you're not like directly a part of something doesn't mean you can't interact with it in like a different type of way. Like watch it, for instance, or like support it. Because you don't have to be the main focus of attention for every single event. And when you push inclusivity to an extent, it's like you're ruining it for the people who it's targeted to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're like trying, like they're doing this assembly where, so previously, like last year we did like the Black History Month assembly as
Yeah.
one thing on its own, and it was great.
It was
Yeah.
But
really
this
cool.
year they're doing a culture assembly, so they're
Yeah.
doing
They're just
every
going
like everyone at the same time in one assembly.
So there's no celebration of
No.
anyone.
You're basically
No.
just
It's just
saying
like,
everyone's the
it's the
same.
same.
And like they
Exactly.
said,
Yeah.
like we were talking to Mr. Q about it, and he agrees with me, but he like said like he also gets why they're doing it because in a sense they're like they want to include everyone, but they're not doing it in the right way.
Absolutely.
Is what we were talking about.
Exactly, because well last year they wanted to have the Black History Month assembly and they did. And they also wanted to have like Hispanic heritage. But I think they like pushed aside Hispanic heritage
Mm-hmm.
and it ended up not happening. So I
Yeah.
feel like they're trying to make up for that. But like
But it's like
Action.
womp womp.
yeah, it's like oh well, now you're just gonna be shoved into this huge celebration.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's really less of a celebration and more of just Oh,
presentation.
we have diversity, exactly.
Yeah,
So,
like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, look at us, we have diversity, it's great, and
Yeah.
not like,
Yeah,
oh
that's
my
it.
God, let's celebrate this awesome culture, because that's
Right.
how it was for Black History Month last year. It was great.
Yeah.
Like we had a cultural fashion show.
Oh yeah, the fashion show was
we
awesome.
had a dance thing. Like
then
I'm
there
on the
was
dance
food.
team.
Yeah, there
There
was
was
food.
the cultural food and stuff. It was really cool.
I think if we just had like something like that for
Every
any culture that like wanted to participate in it, that would be great. We don't have to
Yeah.
like fit everyone under an umbrella.
I feel like that's a big, like, on to the next question about common issues is celebrating. Oh, I had the perfect word in my mind. Celebrating our differences rather than grouping everyone into one big celebration.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's like a common issue I've noticed between our schools.
Yeah. And like what we were talking about earlier, whenever she was like, "Oh, well, how can we be the same and different at the exact same time?" That's that. You have to
Yeah.
celebrate your
Exactly.
differences.
Yeah,
Right.
we can, Sana and I can be same because we're both like, girls, but we can be different because we have totally different like interests and backgrounds.
Yeah.
But we can celebrate the fact that we're the same
Right.
and different. And that's
Yeah.
what makes people like great.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be the same as everyone.
Exactly.
I want to be like, I want to
Your
talk
own
to people
person.
who, like, I want to talk to people who are like the complete opposite of me because I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
And,
like, during a school day, I'm not with the same people all day. Like,
Mm-mm.
I have a different group of people I'm with every single, like, just any
Period.
time.
Yeah.
And so it's like, not only is it like different demographics, but it's like people from different like places or people like are just like completely just different like
Yeah.
areas of life, basically.
Yeah.
And it's comforting to like have people who are like in a similar situation as you, but it's also like really nice to talk to someone who's like so much different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Getting a new perspective.
I feel like we've been focusing so much on what are these huge things that we can do, like whether it's Wish Week or some big event, and we can also change our own personal attitude in that
Yeah.
way, where we're celebrating other people at the same time. And like I feel like there's a certain extent of like you can make people participate in these events, but there's also an aspect of it what's internal and what can we teach people and what can we help people realize that they can change within themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think since I've started doing like student leadership and student board and just like things where you have to address change,
Yeah.
like I've heard a lot of talk about root causes, and root causes are a good thing to an extent, but like you don't always have to tackle the biggest issue in the room. Let's like, what does it all lead back to? You can cut off a branch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you cut off a branch, that's just, I feel like that's just as powerful as cutting off the bottom of the tree.
Yeah.
Like it's a start to something more and like something more and something deeper.
Yeah. Because you can't like do it all at once. You have to take baby steps, and the baby
Right.
steps lead to something bigger, and that's what's great about it.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
You see growth.
I feel like with cutting off that small branch, you like learn how you can better attack like the better problem or the bigger problem.
Yeah, there's going to be major mistakes if you start with the biggest issue.
Right.
Yeah, because you're gonna end up like doing it wrong.
Yeah.
But if you take baby steps, you can like continue to grow and think, oh, that worked, that didn't. But if you take out like the big problem all at once, you can't. There's like no room for error,
Yeah.
and there's gonna be error.
Yeah.
And so that's why, like doing it small.
For sure. I mean, more on a positive note, like, what have you guys done in this club or other clubs that you're really proud of, or even just as an individual? Like, what is something gratifying to you that you've done that has made a difference that you feel is either small or big? Doesn't matter.
I can't think of like anything I've done, but I know we keep going
Or
back to
your
that.
community.
Yeah, I think we keep going back to that unified basketball game because it was
That
just
was
like
so
a
great.
amazing
Yeah.
demonstration of like George coming together.
Mm-hmm.
Literally everyone was there.
Yeah, like so the unified basketball game was against George versus East, and we had East students come too, and I think it might have been during an assembly or something.
No,
but
it was during
It was its own
class.
thing.
Fifth period.
yeah,
During
oh yeah,
fifth
and so we
period.
went, and like almost the whole school came, and we were cheering for East, we were cheering for George.
Mhm.
It was like awesome. Like the energy was unmatched,
That
and
is so
George was
cool.
so unified.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what we were talking about. We weren't, everybody in there wasn't the same, but we were celebrating our differences.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
the individuality in community, if you will.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
That's beautiful. The individuality and community.
Yeah.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Yes.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
This was a really great conversation. I mean, we can't make it extremely long, unfortunately, because I feel like I could do this for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's also extremely hot in here, so
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we should get out before we die.
Yeah.
For chance.
Pass out for.
Well, thank you for listening and thank you for coming. And yeah.